listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You are watching A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I will be presenting today along with my colleague, Mr. Hiett Ives. Before we get into our presentations for today, which are going to be spectacular, of course, I just want to talk to you about the power of listening. How often do you recall in your life you or someone saying to you, "Hello, are you listening to me? I'm trying to tell you something." And we stand there and think, I don't know, I thought I was listening as I look through my phone, as I'm watching television, whatever the case may be. Well, it turns out that many times we mean well, but we're not really listening. I have spent a lot of time in my career honing my craft of listening, and I'm branded as the listening mentor. And I am offering this fantastic Talking Heads Academy, which is all about listening. But even more importantly, as I'm the producer, the power of listening. Yes, I have an online seminar that I am offering on the 16th of September, and it is $47 per ticket. My team is in the UK, so that's where the dollar sign goes. But we have 3 different offerings, 9:30, 1 and 7:30 Eastern time. And why should you sign up for this? Well, we are going to have some incredible dialogue. The first 10 people today who sign up for this seminar, how can you sign up? You can go over to my Instagram, which is Dr. Jacalyn. You are going to have your story showcased about how you were not listened to, or how someone said that you're not a good listener. We'll actually hear you, we'll listen to you about your story, and then offer some suggestions. You'll also get 1 free coaching session with me, the listening mentor, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. So please do go over to my Instagram page, Dr. Jacalyn, and do sign up for your ticket. Well, without further ado, let us bring our other presenter onto the stage today, Mr. Hiett Ives. Hello. Hello, Hiett, you're on mute. And yes, so Hiett is celebrating a very important anniversary. And you might think that it is his wedding anniversary, but no, it's not. It's 50 years of being a Toastmaster. So can you imagine how exciting it is that he's a member of an organization that has really changed lives in so many ways. And Hiett, before we move on to our presentations, I want to have you share with our audience just a little bit about the Toastmaster program, because some people might be too intimidated to even think about joining. Hiett, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Jacalyn. And go ahead and put up my. Did you want me to do this prior to my presentation?
Yes. Just tell us about the organization, the Toastmasters.
Well, that's what the presentation is going to be about. That's what it. So
yes,
it is a communications and leadership program that I have been a part of, as I said, for 50 years, and it is. I value every year that I've had it, and you'll see why in the presentation. It has been beneficial in many, many ways.
Fantastic, Hiett. And I think it's interesting. I wasn't actually supposed to present today. I haven't presented on our platform because I'm always the hostess and the producer, but somebody had to reschedule. And I thought, well, you're you're talking about Toastmasters, and I'm going to talk about how to nail your interview on USA Global TV, which really could apply to any platform, and it doesn't even have to be about interviewing. It could be how you show up in a business meeting or in a social setting. So we do have a couple of comments. Let me take a look over here. Well, hello, Kim. Nice to have you. Kim Adele Platt, Board C-Suite Coach. Really listening is such an amazing skill. Far too often we listen to interject, yes, rather than listening to understand. Well said. We have another comment. Yogi Ramesh Pandey. Awesome. Thank you both for watching. We really appreciate it. So, Mr. Hiett Ives, I'm going to turn over the screen to you, but before we do, I want to let our audience know what to expect for today. So this, if you haven't figured it out, is not an interview show. Okay, we have 18 to 20 shows a week, but this is not one that's an interview. This is a presentation platform. I have hand-selected people from all over the world who are experts in their craft. Hiett is one. He's an expert in several areas that I know of, and I know there's more beyond that. We started this journey of a better you in February of this year. And I'm happy to say, as of tomorrow, Thursday, we will be celebrating 100 episodes of A Better You. And then we will be archiving A Better You as we are rolling out our new platform, which is Talking Heads. And we'll discuss that a little more later. Okay, Hiett will have 15 minutes to present on his topic, which is Toastmasters, a worthwhile investment. Then I will come back on. He and I will engage in a conversation about what I took away from the presentation. We'll go to commercial break, come back. I'll do my presentation, and then Hiett and I will chat, and then we'll wrap up the show. All right, Mr. Ives, I'm going to put up your deck, and I'm going to hit the road and go backstage. Have a great presentation.
Give me the time clock, please.
Yes, sir, I will. Take.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Of those 100 programs, this is number 19 for me. And we're going to talk about Toastmasters. It was, for me, a job requirement. I don't know that anybody has ever had Toastmasters as a job requirement, but I was on the professional staff of the Boy Scouts of America. My boss said, you have to talk to groups and you're a lousy public speaker. If you want to keep your job, find a Toastmasters club. Well, I didn't know Toastmasters was Toastmasters, but guess what? I found a Toastmasters club and I joined it. What is Toastmasters? Toastmasters is a U.S. headquartered nonprofit educational organization that operates clubs worldwide. Toastmasters promotes communications, public speaking, and leadership. And we'll go into all of these elements as we go through the presentation. In Toastmasters, all members are guided by a set of essential core values, and these include integrity, respect, service, and excellence. This is where we go. All right, the history of it. Toastmasters International grew out of a single club founded by Ralph C. Smedley on October 22nd, 1924 in a YMCA in Santa Ana, California. He brought together a group of young men that he wanted to mentor in public speaking and leadership. It originally set classes to improve the communications and leadership skills of young men under his charge. And a couple of months later, he was incorporated under California law on December 19th, 1932. And very quickly thereafter, because there's not too many days left after December 22 in 1932, he formed his second club, established in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And the organization began admitting women in 1973. That was just 2 years after I joined. And prior to that, it had been a male-only operation. And the first lady that joined our club was Linda McLaughlin, and she was a sales rep for Delta Airlines. And she brought with her a Delta pilot, a single Delta pilot named Nick Prosh. That will we'll get more on Nick later. Since its inception, Toastmasters has served over 4 million men and women. It currently has over 364,000 members worldwide, and that's in 145 countries worldwide, and through some 16,000 member clubs. There was a period where Toastmasters magazine encouraged you, as you traveled, those of us that travel, to take a Toastmaster, a recent Toastmasters magazine with you, and then when you get to where you're at, find out if there's a Toastmasters club there. Visit them and take a picture of yourself with your magazine. And there were cover photos of from Paris, from Machu Picchu, from Canada, from Southeast Asia. So it is truly, well, with 145 countries, truly an international operation. The structure, each club operates as a separate entity. And each club has about 20 to 40 members. And it meets every week or every other week. Most clubs meet weekly, and they meet in restaurants, in apartment building, community centers, in YMCAs. Some companies have their own in-house club, and they meet over lunch or over breakfast or whatever. So they're in a city like Houston, where I am, you have breakfast, lunch, dinner clubs, a very wide variety to choose from. Every meeting is based around a set of organized speeches. Depending on how much time you have, it's usually 3 or 4 speeches per meeting. And each of these speeches is given feedback, or each of the speakers is given feedback, and that's called evaluation. And often by more experienced member, let me give you a little side bar here. I had only been a member, not even 2, maybe 3 months at the most, and our club had a evaluation contest where they brought in a test speaker, and everybody, all the contestants, evaluated the same speech. And I walked into the meeting, and the president of the club said, "We don't have enough contestants. You're going to be a contestant." And I said, "Yes, sir." And I did my evaluation, and guess what? I won. And I won at the next level. And I won at the next level. Well, now I'm a cocky little kid with 2 or 3 months, now maybe 4 or 5 months under my belt. And I'm going to San Antonio, Texas for the regional contest, which takes in several states. And I do my evaluation. I'm one of 7. And they actually awarded ribbons and things down to 5th place. So the 4th runner-up was announced, and the 3rd, and the 2nd, and the 1st runner-up, and the winner of the evaluation contest was announced, and it were not me. Ate a little crow there, but it gave me tremendous skill and tremendous input. So it was a good start. Getting back to the meeting structure, each part of the meeting is devoted to, the last part of the meeting of each meeting is devoted to table topics. Table topics are off-the-cuff presentations assigned on the spot by a table topics master. And this is done at the end of the meeting to make sure that everybody in the meeting gets to participate. One of the earliest table topics that I got, and the topic is announced before the person is announced. Normally you say, "Harry, Sue, Bill, tell me about this." Well, the minute you say that, everybody else in the audience turns off. But when you say, "You were driving to the meeting this morning, you got stopped by a policeman for speeding, talk your way out of the ticket, go." And you have a minute and a half. I remember that. Why do we have table topics? To help you handle situations like that, or when your boss walks in and says, "I want you to start this new assignment right now," and says, you can say, "You want me to do that on top of the one you've just given me an hour ago? Which goes first?" So it helps you think on your feet. And I was definitely not anyway. Toastmasters International places a large emphasis on building the public speaking and leadership skills of its members. The current educational system consists of 11 different paths, and they're called pathways, suited to each member's needs and requirements. So basically, you can go into Toastmasters and pursue a public speaking path or an interpersonal communications path, a management path, a strategic leadership, confidence, and others. And you can be actually working on multiple paths simultaneously. So it is extremely flexible for the needs of each of the members. Meeting, leadership, and participation. Well, to do a meeting involves about 12 to 15 members. You have the president of the club opens the meeting. He turns it over to the Toastmaster, who introduces the 3 speakers. The general evaluator is then introduced, and he introduces the 3 evaluators. The table topics master is introduced, and he or she does 3 to 5 table topics, and then the counter, the wordsmith, and a couple of other people do the reports. And most meetings last about an hour and a half. The assignments on this are randomly and systematically rotated. So we about every 4 to 6 weeks we get a calendar saying where we're going to be, and depending on the size of the club, I'm in a fairly large club, and I usually have an assignment once every other week or thereabouts. And I may be Toastmaster one week, a speaker, and the next week table topics master. And if I'm not on the schedule, I'm very likely to be called on in table topics. All right, club leadership, the officers. The offices of the club, the president, the educational vice president, the communications vice president, the marketing vice president, the program vice president. These offices are for 6 months. You say, why only 6 months? Most clubs have things for a year. Well, the average membership in Toastmasters is about 18 months. So with that and 6-month officership, you're going to get both the leadership and the communication side by doing that. So let me have some fun stories here with you. Women in Toastmasters. Well, I talked about Linda McLaughlin, and she was one of the first women in an all-male sales operation, and she did a beautiful job. We had, in the early 80s, a number of Catholic nuns, for whatever reason, decided to leave their vocation and go back into the business world. And 2 of them joined our club, and one of them actually married one of the other Toastmasters. In fact, we had a very young club at the time, and we had a number of weddings. I was doing a lot of international traveling at the time, and one of those weddings was a country club, 5-star, very posh wedding that I was going to be out of the country, and my wife wanted to go to the wedding. So she asked me to ask Nick Prosh. You remember Nick Prosh, the single bachelor pilot for Delta, and he, of course, said yes. And they went, and with me out of the country, and next to the bride and groom, they were the head of the party. Did I forget to tell you my wife was 8 months pregnant at the time? Mentorship. When you come into Toastmasters, into a club, you're going to be assigned a mentor. And I had a businessman friend bring his wife to one of our meetings. And I said, wow, we're going to get a double header here. I had invited him, and he brought her. Well, that was the last time we ever saw him. But she became a very long-time member of the club, and I had the honor and pleasure of being her mentor for a couple of years. Hip pocket speeches. How many times have you been to an event where the speaker doesn't show up and they have to either ask somebody else or do something. Well, when you have a hip pocket speech, that means something that you are passionate about, can talk easily about. You have that in your hip pocket. You can literally say, I'll speak. You want me to speak for 5, 10, 15 minutes? My first hip pocket speech was about when I jumped out of an airplane and my daughter was 3 years old and met me on the ground. That hip pocket speech several years later was jumping out of the airplane and refusing to jump out of an airplane. A few years later, that hip pocket speech was jumping out of an airplane, not jumping out of an airplane, and then jumping out of an airplane a second time. So have a hip pocket speech, and it's a whole lot of fun. So quickly, in conclusion, Toastmaster enhances your speaking strength, gives you leadership experience, builds your network, and keeps you in practice. How many times have you seen somebody that said, wow, he looks like he does that every day? Well, you do with Toastmasters. You can get onto my That Ain't Not Right Use and Abuse of the English Language missive by going to my website, hiettives.com. And if you want to follow up with me on either Toastmastering or business-to-business marketing, hiett@hiettives.com or 832-372-6900. Back to you, Doctor.
Well done, Hiett. Lots of great information there. And I was laughing on that Toastmaster wedding story, especially when you dropped the little tagline about your wife being pregnant, because before I was like, oh, he's really a very trusting man. They've got a really strong relationship. So just working backwards, I love that idea of having a speech right there in your hip pocket that you're ready to go, because it happens all the time, right? That somebody doesn't show up or something happens. Today, for example, the guest who was supposed to be here with you wasn't able to be here. So I said, you know what? I will do a presentation and get it together and get ready. So I love that. I also liked how you talked about that it's an international platform. And I have to say, I was over on the Clubhouse app and they had a room that was dedicated to Toastmasters. So I just decided to drop in there, and there were people from all over the world who were in there, and it was really fascinating. Yep.
That little piece of paper, which is in my wallet all the time, that is the 3 to 5 minute speech or a 10 to 15 minute speech. 3 points. And
what does it say? 2V 2V width?
Well, using the word to, I want to talk with you rather than talk to you. I want to help you discover rather than teach you. And I want to talk to you about when you do it, not if you do it.
Fantastic.
And then I elaborate on those 3. I've got others, but that I have pulled that out of my wallet literally on about 30 seconds notice, and that's all I need.
That is fantastic. Hiett, I want to share a quick story before we take a break, and what you just shared with that card really made me think about this that happened to me, and I might have shared it with you before, but I was going for my last year of residency, getting my doctorate, and there were 15 of us. And we were divided into 3 groups of 5, and each one of us was given a case study. So the 5 of us would go off. And so since I was in sales my whole career, I was supposed to open and I was supposed to close. And so we had a day and a half to work on the solution, come back in and present in front of our team, in front of the facilitator and the professor. So long story short, I get up and I'm presenting blah, 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 blah. And the professor holds up a 3x5 card, and all that's on there is, please sit down. And he keeps coming closer, please sit down. And I look at him and I said, what? He's like, and he didn't say anything. He's like, so I sat down. Long story short, the second person, he points to that person, you're next. So that person moves over, and now that person's supposed to do my part and his own part. So he's scrolling through the computer. So please sit down. So this goes on until the last person. So now the last person is supposed to do the entire presentation. Well, of course, didn't know it and is going through the computer. So the professor takes the computer and closes the top and says, go. So the point of the story is, of course, people were freaking out and went to the dean. The point of the story is you need to know all parts of the presentation. You need to be prepared, spot on. So Toastmasters, it sounds like, is taking it to a further step that, have some content prepared that you're passionate about. You can get up and deliver at a moment's notice with a small card like that with a few words on it. And you can really help save the day, plus promote yourself and extend your professional brand.
I have a Christmas presentation that I have delivered for the last 25 years. People wait to hear it. They've heard it before. They know all of the parts of it, but it is so heart pulling that what medium are you going to be doing it? And I will do that speech to 3 to 5 organizations around the Christmas season.
Well, of course, you're going to have to do it here now. So, but another time, that would be great. So thank you for that presentation. We're going to take a break and hear from some of our sponsors. And when we come back, yours truly is going to do her first presentation on her own platform. What do you think of that?
Hey ho.
All right, let's take a break. As I mentioned, we've got some great sponsors, and my thanks to all of you. As you know, we started this platform in August of last year, actually August 16th, and we started with a phone and Business Talk Radio out of New York. Then we went to Zoom, and now we are on StreamYard. We went from 1 show to 18 to 20 shows every week, and it just keeps getting better. So thank you again to our sponsors. We'll be right back after this break.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You are watching A Better You. And our presenters today are Mr. Hiett Ives and, that would be me. So in our first segment, Hiett walked us through the Toastmasters program. He's celebrating his 50th anniversary of being a member. Congratulations, Hiett. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Hiett, I'm going to present now, and I'm wondering if you can run the board while I'm presenting. No, I'm kidding. No.
Oh, you're a braver man than I, Gunga Dan.
All right. Well, I'm going to put you backstage. No offense, and if you can watch the presentation.
You should have let me introduce. I'm going to introduce you. I don't even know what you're talking about, but ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jacalyn has studied, has been in the business world, has gotten out of the business world, and has got into the production world. She is focused. She is passionate about what she does. And listen closely, because she is going to give us a lot of gems of wisdom. With that, it's all yours, Doctor.
Thank you, Hiett. That was very nice. Very nice. Thank you. All right, I'll put you backstage. No offense. I'll see you soon. All right. Hi, everybody. My topic today is how to nail your interview on USA Global TV. Now, this can apply to almost all kinds of interviews, but I'm specifically using USA Global TV for one reason. My goal with this platform has always been and still is to help people share their stories. So I want to help you show up in the best way possible so that you can share your brand without distracting the audience from some things that come up. I've seen this over and over again when people come on to present. So I want to help give you some tips so that people will remember you for all the right reasons. Okay, the first thing is when you're going to do an interview, maybe we've contacted you or you've contacted us. What is your why? Why do you want to do the interview? Once you have that, think about what is the message that you want to leave with the audience. When I'm backstage prepping people before we come on, I will say to them, what would you like people to take away from this show? And many times people look at me and say, I don't know. What do you think? Well, I don't know, because I don't know the whole degree to which you're going to present or answer questions when I'm speaking with you. So really get that in your head as to what you want to leave people with. Why should people watch? What's the value that you're going to bring during the interview? Okay, once you have all of that, in order to try to calm your nerves so that when you are interviewed, you can really be listening intently instead of focusing on all these other little logistical things, here's what I suggest you do. Number one, do your research. Like anything, if you're going to go on a date, for example, you're going to do some research. Maybe you're going to do a Google search. Maybe you're going to ask people, hey, do you know so-and-so? Ask about the program. Look into it. Go to my website, drjacalyn.com. Go to where we stream. You don't know where we stream? Find out. How can you find out? You can send a question to our website, drjacalyn.com. You can talk to somebody else, maybe that you've watched one of the other shows, reach out to them. Next, find out where are the destinations, as I just alluded to. What does the platform look like? Who might be watching or listening to your presentation, interview, whatever it is, depending on the show? Now, when you're on USA Global TV, we're also on Business Talk Radio. And after we stream live, we become a podcast. So people can watch on the live. They can also watch on the replay, and they can also listen on the podcast. So that gives 3 different opportunities for people to hear your interview. Next, what do you need to know about Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck when she interviews you? Okay, so that's a good question. One thing you need to know is I don't use scripts. So if it's my show, we do have one show where the co-hosts like to use a script. On my shows, I don't use any scripts. So people will say, can you send the questions to me so I know what you're going to ask? No, I can't. You know why? Because I don't know what I'm going to ask, because it's live. I'm paying attention, I'm listening, and I follow the flow of the conversation. Next, what if there's a co-host? Do some research on the co-host, because typically we tag team, we go back and forth. And so what's a great way to find out what that back and forth might look like? Watch some other shows that we've already produced. So again, how can you do that? What are the platforms we stream to? And how can you find out where the shows are? Okay, that's pretty simple. So for example, I'm going to give it to you right now. On Facebook, if you are connected to me, if you're my friend on my personal page, Jacalyn Kerbeck, you will be invited to follow me on my business pages. So that's Dr. Jacalyn, Dr. Jacalyn's interviews, A Better You, Celebrate Great Britain Royally Rich. And then we also have private groups like Dr. Jacalyn's Health and Wellness. That's just for women. No offense to men. We also have A Better You, which is a private group. On YouTube, it's USA Global TV. We've got playlists there. So for example, A Better You is a playlist. If you go to YouTube, you put in USA Global TV, and then you'll see subscribe, you hit subscribe, and then you'll see various playlists. Those playlists contain all of the content for the shows that are underneath that category. Okay, so now you know what the format's going to be. You know what it is that I look for just to make you look your best. Okay, you need to know who's the audience. So who's actually going to be watching or listening? So you know we're on USA Global TV, which I just shared, and we're on social media. I didn't name all the social media destinations, which I will. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Then we become a podcast, and we are on Apple, Amazon, Pandora, Spotify, and TuneIn Radio. Now, hold on to your hats, folks. In January the 10th, we are launching USA Global TV, the official launch, and we are going to be expanding far and wide. So our platforms are going to increase, the audience is going to increase, so it's only going to be better for you coming on to be interviewed, or if you're one of our presenters, for you to get your message out. Okay, the next thing is, you now know what to expect coming on the show. How do you prepare to come on to be interviewed? Well, let's let your network know that you're doing an interview. What a concept. I can't tell you how many times people come on a show, they have not posted one thing on social media. Why not, guys? This is such an amazing opportunity. You have all these platforms and people are going to have an opportunity, but they don't know. You're coming on the show and you're just trying to figure out where we're streaming to. So let people know you're doing this interview. Go on to your social media. Now, I've got a little gift for you. When you come on to any of our shows, we do social media posting for you and we tag you. Yes. So let's use Facebook, for example. So let's say we tag you on Facebook, and then typically we'll put your name and then like, comment, and share. Pretty simple. 3 things: like, comment, and share. Click like, comment. Wow, I'm so excited to be a guest on this show. Share. When you click share, it immediately goes up to the top of your newsfeed, and you just put, hey, network, excited to be on this show. You can watch us here. Where? On any of the destinations I just mentioned. I strongly suggest sending everyone to our YouTube channel. What is our YouTube channel? Anyone? Shoppers? Okay. Yes, it's USA Global TV. Nice work. Okay, fantastic. All right, now it's the day of the interview. You are pumped up, you are psyched, and you are driving in your car and you decide you're going to do the interview from there. No, I'm really sorry, but no. Why? Am I mean? No, I'm not mean. It's not going to look good for you. It's not going to look good for you sitting in the back seat of your car with the hook where you hang the dry cleaning. Is anyone dry cleaning anymore? I don't know. But anyway, no offense to dry cleaners. I'm just saying you can wash a lot of stuff now. Nobody wants to see you in the back of the car, okay, unless you have a limo driving around, or maybe you're in an Uber or something, and that's not a great time for an interview. You're here to promote yourself and your brand in the best possible way. So I suggest you have a professional background. What does that mean? That means something that is free from distractions. If I did not have this green screen here, you'd see a lot of stuff back there and you'd be like, oh, what is that on the wall? Or, oh, I see a window. Is that a bird? Look, it's a bird over there. And all of a sudden, you're no longer paying attention. We want people to have all their attention on you because we know it takes very short amount of time for people to get distracted. So we raise our voice, we change our tone to keep people engaged. We have to have a professional setting, a nice lighting so that your face has a glow. Okay, I've got 2 lights over here. I've got 1 over here. I've got 1 in front of me. So did it take a little bit of an investment? Yes, but it's your brand. And if you plan on doing interviews on a regular basis, you want to have the right lighting. Okay, so we talked about not having distractions and having the right lighting. So it's a pandemic. Let's be real. We can't all go to an office. We're not going to be renting a space for WeWork. We're not going to be in a hotel lobby. What can we do if we're working from home and there are other people living there? I suggest a blank wall. Somewhere in your home, somewhere in your apartment, somewhere wherever you live, a blank wall, just this big, blank, and then that's all we see. That's perfect. That's all you need. Okay. Now, let's talk about further preparation. Prior to the day, this is the day, right? You're going to do an interview. Did you send over a professional headshot? Did you send over your bio? Maybe not. Now, what's going to happen if you don't? First of all, we will have found your headshot, but it might not be the one that you want us to use. Second of all, we will have already done our research on social media and Google to get your background, but maybe there's something in your background that isn't on any of these venues, these destinations, and we don't know. How are we going to know unless you tell us? So please send over a bio and a headshot. Okay, what should you include in the bio? Let's include your objective. What is your objective in your field? What is your objective in your charitable giving? Whatever you want us to know, just put it there. And I would say no more than 2 pages, please. Okay, what are your professional accomplishments? What is your education? Where are you in terms of charitable giving and being aligned with your community? How important is that to you? And of course, what hobbies do you have? Now, you might say, why are you asking all these questions? Because we want to paint a picture of you, a full picture of you as a person, so that we are able to pull out all of the relevant information so that when people are watching your interview, whether it's on the live or the replay or they're listening, they see you in a different light. They can go to your website, like you can go to my website and you can see a lot of things about me, but when you're interviewing me, you're going to get a different side of me. So that's what we want. We want to be able to bring out the whole you. Now, maybe you're promoting something. Wow, what a great time on an interview to bring that out. What could you be promoting? A new book? Fabulous. Maybe you have a great seminar coming up. Maybe you have some workshops. Maybe you have a retreat. Maybe you have a charitable function. Maybe you have a golf outing. We could go on and on. Maybe you're big on Instagram Live. Maybe you're running rooms over on Clubhouse. Maybe you do Facebook Live. Whatever these things are, we want to know, because we want to direct people to follow you so that your following gets bigger and bigger. Okay. Next, this is really a pet peeve of mine. Please show up with a nice, clean environment, as I mentioned, with a ring light or proper lighting, and join us through your laptop. Yes, could you join on your phone? Sure. Could you join on a tablet? Yes. Why am I asking for the laptop? Because when you join from a phone or you join from a tablet, it's, first of all, a very small picture. You're going to see me big as life, and you're going to see you this big. And when I spotlight you, you're still this big, and there's all this screen around you that's being wasted because we like to have you this big. Now, it's also the tablet and the phone have to be wedged on something. And sometimes they move around and they flip and they flop. And in the middle of the interview, the whole thing slides. It's like, whoa, oh, there she goes. Okay, so it's not the best way for you to be presented. So again, try joining us from a laptop. Okay, now it's the day of the interview. You've logged in, you're on your computer, you've got a beautiful white wall behind you, you've got some lighting, and now we're about to begin. This happens all the time. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm waiting. You show up late. You show up late. I asked for you to show up 10 minutes early. You show up 3 or 4 minutes early. Now, because we're a live broadcast, we have to go live. We only have so many minutes before the different destinations will cancel us. So now I'm trying to give you an overview of what to expect, and you're fumbling around with your computer, trying to get your presentation up. You're not paying attention, and I'm just sitting here watching and thinking, this isn't the best way for you to show up. So show up early so you can get the information. And again, it's all about you, having you look your best, giving you the information that you need so that it's a success for you, and also that it's a great show for us as well. Okay, now the interview starts. I open the show, my co-host, whatever the situation is, we ask the first question. And you showed up late, so we didn't really get to brief you. And what happens? You answer the first question. Instead of a nice, concise, short answer, you start into a long, drawn-out monotony of information. And I'm smiling and I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to listen because that's what I do. I listen. Now we're 5 minutes in, we're 6 minutes in. Well, I'm still listening, but the audience is already bored. I watch them, people, I see how many people are watching. They just drop off because there's no back and forth. People like banter, back and forth, questions, answers, just like in a boxing match, right? You don't want to see one guy just pummeling the other guy the whole time, right? You want to see back and forth, back and forth. So think about your answer. I ask a question, take a moment, breathe, pause, answer the question, and then stop. Because we know there's more. We want more, You always want to leave the audience wanting more, but we don't want it all in one time. Okay. So let's go back and forth, back and forth. Believe me, this is not your retirement speech. This is just an interview. And if we don't get all the information, we're happy to have you back. So it's, again, just keep it short and concise and to the point so that people can understand what you're saying. Okay. Other little tips. Make sure your devices outside of your computer are all off. I can't tell you how many times people have their phone or a tablet, maybe you have YouTube on the television, and they've got other devices on that are then providing feedback. So we can hear the show, which is 7 seconds delayed on the other devices. So now you're like, oh, I got the phone, like trying to find a phone while you're doing the interview, and it's distracting. Okay, last things. Be prepared for the unexpected. What does this mean? Technology doesn't always work. Okay, I have been on shows and some crazy things have happened. But when we come back on, I'm just, hello. Sometimes I'll tell you a production goof that happens all the time because I'm the producer. There are many times when I tee up the show and we're all backstage and I run the timer, I run the intro, and I'm standing here like this, and all I see is a black screen. There's nothing happening. And it seems like it's forever. Maybe it's for 10 seconds or 20 seconds. And what I used to do is I would start the show off and I'd say, oh my gosh, technology, who can understand it? And it turns out that the audience didn't see the black screen. Only I did. So now I don't say that anymore. So to our guests, be prepared for something to happen with your internet. Be prepared the screen gets frozen. Be prepared that your voice is heard, but your picture is not seen. It's okay. It's not your fault. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just technology. We love it, but sometimes it questions us. It's energy. So we just take a deep breath. It's okay. It's only an interview. It's just a small part of life. And last thing is, have fun. When you're passionate and you have fun, it comes through. People are like, wow, like Hiett's all passionate about being a Toastmaster 50 years. You can see it's important to him. It means something to him. So show up with the best version of yourself. Set yourself up to win. Be prepared and have a great time. And a little PS, it's always nice when you follow up with the hostess, who would be me. It's always nice to hear from people, hey, I had a great time, or hey, I learned this, or I have somebody to refer to you. I remember that. I really do. Because if you reach out to me, it makes me want to help you even more, a second, third, fourth time. I love introducing people, connecting people. I'm all about that. So I hope that you found this to be helpful and that you can take something away from it and maybe take some of the tips and use it outside of the USA Global TV environment. Maybe use it somewhere else in your personal life or professional life. And with that being said, I'm going to welcome Mr. Hiett Ives back to the show. And you're on mute. And see, it's no big deal. He's on mute. Big deal. He's still on mute. He's still on mute. But see, this happens. Who cares? We'll find the button, wherever it is. There it is. Okay.
Yep. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. So any tips that you thought stood out more than others since you've been on this platform for a while now? Less is more. You gave us an awful lot of information.
Yes.
Some of those could have been go to here and see all of the platforms we're on, rather than list them all, yourself. And the old adage, cover three things in a presentation. Before, during, and after. But before your self preparation, before getting yourself acclimated to the platform you're going to be on, and your presentation, and then maybe the audience. So before, prepare yourself and look at and decide who the audience is, know who the audience is, and know who the interviewer is and what they're likely to ask you.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, part of the reason I gave the information I did is because people, they send me all these questions, and so I have to answer all of them. So I was trying to kind of cut out some of the work. But no, that's good feedback. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
All right. Well, that actually concludes our show for today. And if you didn't get to watch the whole thing, please go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV. And as I alluded to earlier, A Better You, we are celebrating our 100th show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 7 p.m. We've got another comment, 7 p.m. British Summer Time. Diane Boehm, I love the presentation. It was so wonderful for you to share and understand what it means to be a professional interviewer. Your passion came through. Fabulous. Thank you, Diane. Lady D, very nice. Appreciate you watching. So we are celebrating 100 episodes, which, by the way, this week or next week we'll be celebrating 500 shows as well. It just seems like it was 400 shows, but I think it's 500 next week. But we will be retiring A Better You because we have a platform that is even more exciting than this one, which is the Talking Heads. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll put the slide up. We are doing screening for people who are interested to be part of the Talking Heads platform. So you can reach out to me, and I will put up my email address again, which is Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com. Everybody has a story. We'd love to hear yours. And if you feel or you've been told possibly that you are an expert in your area, we'd love to speak with you. Thank you so much, Hiett, for being here today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure. Look forward to being with you again next week.
Wonderful. And thank you to our folks who are engaging with the show. We really do appreciate that. It means a lot, especially to have people comment and know that we're bringing value to you. So once again, thank you, everybody. We'll see you again soon. That's our last show for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.